I have a newspaper from July 25th, 2012. It's actually August 8th, and I'm with reporters from British Columbia. This is the Enbridge area, and we have a worker here that is telling us that this is still full of oil, that every day Enbridge comes and bags this up. Well, why would they come bag this up if it's not oil? If it's just peat moss, why would they even waste their time doing it? This is all oil that collects through here. Remember, this is 2012, after they said that it's already done and clean. This is what collects every single day. You think this is oil here?
Yes, very much so.
And why do you think that?
Oh, it smells like oil. You can see oil floating all over the top of the water. Workers come and clean it up and dispose of it at a certain disposal site because it has oil in it.
Yep. So, and the river's open right now, right?
Yes.
Doesn't make sense to you, does it?
No, it don't.
Now, you say you swim in here sometimes?
Yes, about every day.
Why?
I used to swim in here since I was born when I was a kid, and then as they opened it up, they said it was clean. But evidently it's not. You can still see oil.
Right. Well, I'm going to go right over here, right over in this. See, this looks really nice through here, but I'm going to go right over here and I'm going to show these guys where I can fill my glove up with oil. Where there's no current. It's a lot easier where the current's not catching it. Well, we don't want to get you fired.
Right.
So we'll get out of here in a minute.
Yeah, it's nasty. They're here every morning cleaning this stuff up.
So this morning, did they already collect some of that?
Yeah, yes they did.
So this was already empty this morning?
No, it wasn't totally empty. It was about where it's at now. It was out farther,
yeah.
And they've been bagging it up since then, so now it's where it's at because they've already taken 50, 60 bags or whatever the one side boat can carry.
2 years later, obviously, after the spill. I mean, what goes through your mind when you...
Oh, it's nasty. I grew up on this river. I swam in this river since I was 3 years old. And to see this come and then they open it back up and it's still dirty, it's nasty. It's not a good sight. It's an eyesore. You don't want to see nothing like this. So you lived here all your life. They pretty much ruined it.
What's your name, please?
Scott Roberts.
And Scott, where are you from?
CTV News in Vancouver.
What are you here for?
We're just here doing a story about the Enbridge spill here in the Battle Creek Marshall area from 2 years ago, and how it may impact decisions made north of the border in Canada as far as Enbridge's proposal for the Northern Gateway pipeline that's going to run from just north of Edmonton to the coast of northern BC. So we're just following what happened here 2 years ago, seeing how the situation impacted residents, seeing how Enbridge has done as far as the cleanup, how EPA has done as far as the cleanup, and any lessons that can be learned for residents in Canada. We just trying to get the story out to them.
Just all starting to pop up. Takes a minute or two.
Wow.
What's it smell like?
I mean, it's oil. I've smelled oil before, and that's oil.
Think of how bad it was when you had a million gallons in here.
Yeah, just... oh, it's incredible seeing it for yourself.
Hard to believe, isn't it, when they say it's
We're
clean?
on the Kalamazoo River now, and this is again 2 years after the spill took place. We just dug up some of the riverbed, and this is what pops to the surface. You can see these little droplets of oil right across the river, and you can even see clumps of dirt like that. You smell that? That's oil. Now we're standing in the Kalamazoo River. We just spent about 10 minutes digging up the riverbed, and this is what we're finding floating to the surface. Among this sort of blue sheen is also a dirt, tar-like substance, and I can tell you, it smells just like oil.
Nice, very nice.
So John, let's start from the beginning with you. I mean, you worked for SCT when the cleanup happened. You were sort of a contract worker, I take it. Walk me through your initial contact with this spill and what your role was.
I'm in the union. I'm a pipe fitter, and when the oil spill happened, it was in my backyard. I was called to work, and I was working in a yard that Enbridge had, and Enbridge actually appointed me to be the yard boss. So I was the yard boss for the biggest yard for the biggest oil spill in the United States history. And then I switched over to cleanup, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to turn that pipe back on, so that way they can make their $8-9 million a day. And they were telling us to start putting rocks over it and dirt over it and grass over it. And I was watching this at different areas, and I just couldn't. I mean, I live here. My ancestor's the first mayor of this town. I'm a Navy veteran. I have a Bronze Star for saving a man's life. And I'm trying to save people's lives now from Enbridge, because in my opinion, their oil spills from this diluted bitumen kills people. And I mean, we've had a lot of people die here and had seizures and miscarriages and babies born deformed. And they're saying this is clean, that people can swim in here. I am petrified to have kids in here swallowing this sheen, oil chunks. I mean, you just pulled a chunk the size of your hand almost out of here, full of, I mean, what if a kid swallows drops of that? And the documents from Enbridge say that this type of oil causes permanent, lifelong damage if you swallow some of it. And then when there is a spill, the chemicals are so intense and so toxic that it can cause permanent damage. It just takes years for people to see the effects. So Enbridge right now says everything's fine, but it's not.
Tell me, when you worked for the company, you know, you said they were sort of laying some coconut matting or whatever over, and this was near here, my understanding is, or was this over the Talmadge?
This was in Talmadge Creek, and I mean all along the river. I worked in probably 10 different spots along the 40-mile stretch of river. So I got to see a lot of different areas and a lot of different parts of the cover-up.
Over here, when we were just walking in, you said this was part of the reason you were terminated. You said that's where you first came forward and said, I'm not sure we're doing things right here. Tell me that story and sort of referencing where we are now.
Well, about 15 feet away, I worked here, and I worked about 15 feet away on the other side of this little clump of grass here. Well, what happened was, Enbridge told us to change the boom. They put out this white boom. It was full of oil. And they said, put out nice white boom. So we put it out. Guess what? The EPA came right after that and said it was clean and clear. I said it's not. I went to Enbridge and I made a complaint, and Enbridge told my company, SCT Environmental, to fire me the next day because I reported an oil cover-up to the media and it made their reputation look bad.
What did SCT tell you about
SCT told me that you're not allowed to videotape any of the area, you're not allowed to go to the news and report cover-ups, and because you did that, you violated a law, or their policy. Well, it was not in their policy that you can't videotape, it's not in their policy you can't go to the media, and guess what? I have phone records that I went to the EPA and made official complaints to the government, which they deny, but I have proven in court because I have the phone records.
What, why did you come forward you came forward to some local news stations? I mean, why did you make an issue of it?
I couldn't sleep at night. It really bothered me. I saw a truckload of dead animals once, and we're talking about like 500 dead animals. Every single fish in the river for 40 miles was dead. And that's going to happen in Canada. All these fishermen, salmon fishermen, hunters, you're not going to have that. They're going to be gone. And there goes your livelihood. I mean, this is very serious. We're talking about profits for a company to put a pipeline through, and it's not going to help the local residents, it's not going to help the landowners, and it's not going to help you feed your family. It's going to hurt you when there is a spill, and Enbridge has had over 800 spills in the last 10 years. And they have proven that they don't have a good track record, and they should not be allowed to put in these pipes. It disgusts me what they're getting away with, just because of money, because they got power.
And so you sued SCT, and you got, you did get a settlement.
Yes, I did.
And what was the reasoning for settling?
The reason that I settled is because I'm going after Enbridge. Enbridge is the one that did this. They knew the pipe was bad for 5 years. when there was a spill and alarms are going off, they didn't even care. They just kept pushing it through, and that oil reached. My mother is sick from this, and my family is sick from this, and my friends and my community. And I'm not going to sit by and let them do this. I lost a $2,300 a week job because of this. And it was hard to give up that kind of money when you're, you know, in the United States right now, unemployment's so high. But I couldn't sit by and let them get away with this. So I complained. I knew I was going to lose my job, and I lost it. And I know for a fact I'm doing the right thing. And I don't care what anybody says. Enbridge will say that I'm no part of this cleanup. I got the documents to prove that Enbridge signed off on all these areas, every single area, before the EPA came to look at it.
And what did SET say when they were in court about why they settled with you?
They
As
said
opposed to just
they said
fighting?
they settled with me because it would be financially better for them to not keep going through with the trial. They were already done with their part of the trial. They weren't going to have any more workers come, and we had 1 or 2 days left. They might have spent $10,000, but if I lose trial, I got to give them $75,000 at least for their attorney fees. So when they say that they settled for financial reasons to save them money, that's 100% lie. SET Environmental is lying to everybody, and they gave me a very, very large settlement to shut me up. Well, it didn't shut me up. It gave me money to pursue Enbridge, and that's what I'm doing. I'm making t-shirts. I just spent $10,000 on t-shirts to give away for free. I want the community and the world to know what these companies are doing, because they've killed people in my community.
I mean, you're obviously, you know, you're sort of a one-man crusader here against this company.
I am, and I don't know why. Why can't it be a 100-man crusade? And you know, why can't this be a group of people, women and children and men come together? You know, one man, I believe one man can make a difference, because I've proven it to myself and to other people. But a group of men and women together can change that pipeline that shouldn't go through.
What's your message to British Columbians who will be watching this story and trying to make their minds up about whether this is a good project for their community? Enbridge's proposed Northern Gateway. What do you want them to know? What's your sort of message, if you could speak directly to British Columbians?
I just want you guys to know.
Just speak through me, but
Okay.
yeah, through me to them, yeah.
All right. I just want everybody in Canada to know, in British Columbia, that my entire family works for pipeline companies. They put in the pipe. This is our livelihood. This is what I do for a living. And I'm willing to give up everybody in my family's future income and my future income to do the right thing and tell everybody what these oil spills do to the communities and to the businesses and to the landowners and to your health. And I am going to do something about it, and I'm not going away until I've already had 4 death threats. I've had slashed tires, my brakes have been messed with, and I'm not going away. I don't care. They can scare me, they can kill me, but this story will go on.
What should people in Canada do to combat this proposal? I mean, there's a lot of political pressure to put this in. What can the average person do?
You have to have town meetings. You have to come together, and you actually have to vote against it. You have to have a voice. I am one man with a voice, but my voice is loud because I make it loud. You have to go to these meetings, and you have to stand up, and you have to ask those hard questions. And then you have to watch the videos that I have produced that actually show the truth about what Enbridge did during this cleanup. These aren't my words. These are the words of the community. And these are the documents that EPA and Enbridge has given me through Freedom of Information that I have now trying to spread out to the world. You need to watch these videos, and you need to tell everybody about it, because when you see it, you know what's really going on.
You know, we just did this simple exercise here today, sort of showing what's still in this river. Why? Do you feel like people here don't either know that or aren't willing to listen? I mean, why isn't there more of a concerted effort to get that message out there, I'm wondering?
Well, if you go in town and you just go to random people, they're going to probably tell you that it was horrible what happened, but the news reports and the health department says that everything's fine and it's clean. Well, I'm living proof by bringing you out here and showing you that if you put your rake in the river, in the mud, that the oil is 1 foot, 2 foot down. It's at the bottom of this river. And it's not going away. It's got to be cleaned up. It's got to be dug out. And for them to sit there and say that it's going to hurt the environment more, that's a lie. As I said, my family works for oil companies. My one brother's an environmental coordinator, my one brother's an environmental inspector, and they have told me that by leaving this, you are polluting your wells and the river for generations. By digging it out, you are protecting everybody. But it's money. And Enbridge buys property. Enbridge bought all this property. They don't want us on these edges to do this. They want us to say we're trespassing.
And they own this over here, this side, or where? They bought up a lot, I know. But.
They did. They bought all these houses up here on the other side of this. But right here, this land and the land over there, they have leased for the cleanup, but they didn't actually purchase it. But there's a lot of areas they've tried to kick me out just for videotaping. Why? When I'm showing oil that you have left behind that Enbridge has not cleaned up, why would you follow me, harass me, try to arrest me, and call me a liar when I got the video proof that in that area that you say it's mud? Guess what? It was really oil because you dug it all back up. You had security guards circling you. I walked right through and videotaped you digging the whole area back up that you said it was mud.
And again, a warning to Canadians about your situation, what you guys have been through here. Any more to say to them?
Yeah, if they put this pipeline through up there, you're going to have, I mean, the Trans-Canada pipeline that they just put in with all the top-notch pipeline materials, all the top-of-the-line pump stations and detection systems, guess what? There was still 12 leaks in the first year with the best of the best. So how can Enbridge put this through mountains and rivers and lakes and act like it's not going to happen to them? When we know from their track record, 800 spills in over 10 years, I mean, wow. That's enough right there just to say, I don't trust them. Nobody should trust them. For one, you guys need impact statements to find out what this tar sand oil actually does to your health. And this is the largest spill in the United States history, and guess what? Because these oil companies have so much power, there is no health study for this. How can you not have a health study for the biggest toxic spill in the United States history? And it's because of money. They control our government.
This is just one of many properties affected by this spill some 2 years after the fact. Now, before it happened, this was all lush green vegetation, but the oil ended up pooling in low-lying areas like this one, and as you can tell, not much is growing here now.
But this is where they said that oil was concentrating because of the because of the low grade, and when this groundwater seeped back in, it just concentrated the oil into these pools.
Just give us a sense, where are we right now, and what are we looking at?
We're located on the south side of the Kalamazoo River, just downstream from the Soresco Dam, between 11 and 12 Mile Road. And
tell me what this area looks like now versus what it looked like, pre-spill 2 summers ago, sort of thing. I mean, just to sort of describe what we're seeing.
Pre-spill 2 summers ago, it was covered in heavy green vegetation, as you see behind us. Now, since the spill, we're finding these low-lying areas are not growing. They're just kind of a dirt patch.
And as well, tell me, I mean, you had some sort of remedial environmental work done here. What did the people tell you? What did the environmentalists tell you?
Enbridge's environmental consultant came out and looked at it, and it explained that these areas at the time, when they explained it, were the low-lying pockets that the oil drifted back into when the water dropped, when the water level, because when it flooded, when it spilled, this was all flooded over.
What did it look like? Like, were you down here in the days after when you could actually see the oil, or what did that look like?
It looked like grease. It was a brown, sticky kind of grease substance on all the trees going up, probably 12 inches, if not a little more, across all the trees.
And what were you thinking when you saw that?
That they would make it right. That's what we were thinking. And instead, we've been basically ignored. We keep being told to contact somebody, and each new person we contact tells us to contact somebody else. So, and I think the last person we talked to was a Mark Kerwin, out of Minnesota, I think he was, and you know, they kept promising to purchase the property or suggesting that they were going to purchase the property, and that just never transpired.
What is what did you want to do with this property? And what was the purpose for this when you guys bought it?
Well, we've had the property since I was a little kid. I grew up on this property, you know, playing out here on the property, but we were holding on to the property to develop it for the casino because they're adding all those jobs just down the road. And now I don't think that's even an opportunity anymore.
Yeah, do you think you could ever sell this land now, or what would you need to do that? I know there's...
You know, some of the discussions we've had involving it, we would need to prove that there is no ongoing liability with the oil spill, which I don't know how we could prove that.
How many of these sorts of pockets do we see across? I mean, you guys got 100 acres here, but...
You know, I mean, this is a small pocket. When we had that environmentalist out, he said it was 40 acres. So, you know, there at that time, and I still are, I mean, there's probably 50 or 100 of these little pockets.
And so in the days following the spill, like what did Enbridge say to you guys? What was the sort of relationship like? Were they courting you, or was it a good relationship right off the bat?
No, I mean, originally following the spill, they actually, right at the entrance to our property, had police officers or sheriffs, and wouldn't allow us on our property. Probably a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, we were able to gain access to our property. At that point, they asked us to fill out a application. We fill out an application, and they just sent us from person to person to person. I mean, it was just months of talking to this person and this person and this person, and nobody seemed to have any answers, and everybody pointed the direction to somebody else.
How frustrating was all that for you?
Very frustrating. You know, it just kind of, it felt like to me that they were just wasting time, buying time. Nobody had answers. They just wanted to run the clock out.
Now we know now that Enbridge bought, you know, several hundred homes along the route here, I guess between Marshall and further past Battle Creek. Did you think they were going to buy yours? Was there a point in time you thought that was going to happen, or that you were going to get some sort of compensation?
Yeah, the fall following the spill, we thought that they were going to buy our property, or at least make some effort to compensate us for the damages to the property. That, you know, and that was based on emails with this Mark Kerwin over at Enbridge, and me going back and forth. And I felt like, I mean, they even marked an area that they said they had interest in buying and sent it to us. We thought that they were going to purchase the property, and like I said, as you know, it was just going to happen next week or the following week or the following month. And at some point, you know, you just kind of, I don't want to say give up hope, but give up hope that it's really going to happen.
What do you want from the company? What do you think is fair?
We just want to be made whole as far as the drop in value. You know, original, and we still would do it, would be to sell the property back to them at a fair market value. If that's not an option, then we just want to be made whole based on the drop in value.
What is that sort of value for people that don't know, or the worth of this land? I mean, can you give us sort of some numbers that would just give us an idea?
No, I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands.
The difference.
The difference, yeah.
What's your warning? I mean, we're doing this story, and we're doing it for an audience in Canada. Our audience is looking at this and saying Enbridge wants to build a pipeline in Western Canada from, you know, Alberta through to the BC coast. A lot of communities along there are concerned, and a big part of that concern has to do with what happened here and what seemingly is happening in other American communities, at least with some of the pipelines that Enbridge has. I mean, what do you say to those Canadians along that route as Enbridge is gearing up for this proposal north of the border?
Yeah, I mean, I would be really concerned. You know, we're not located on the pipeline. I mean, the pipeline's 4 or 5 miles away. You know, I'd be really concerned about the impacts of something like that, and not fall into the, you know, the impression that everything is made whole, or everybody is made whole by a few gestures. And I think that's our most frustrating thing, is they did go buy some homes, and they bought the smaller properties, but seemingly large properties, they've done nothing on. And I mean, being such a large corporation, it's difficult to fight them one-on-one.
And if you could speak directly to those, like, British Columbians who are looking at this, and many saying, you know, we we don't want this, what would you tell them if they could make or help sort of make a decision on whether this was a good thing or a bad thing for their community or their homes or their properties or whatever? What would you say directly to those British Columbians?
No, I tell them to fight it. I tell them to oppose it. I tell them that I think it's there's not a lot of gain for the local communities, and there's a lot at risk. I mean, I feel like the local communities are risking a lot. The local property owners have a lot at risk. And in terms of what gain they receive, they really, I don't see where we gained anything from having a pipeline run through here.
You and a few other people are the only ones that are actually standing up and doing something.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Same thing in golf when it happened with BP.
Joel, let me get
Am I gonna get in trouble on this one?
he got in trouble because his grandmother owns the property. No, I just want, what's your opinion of Ceresco Dam? It's August 20th, 2012. What's your opinion of the cleanup process down there? Was it good enough?
I don't think so. You can still see a lot of oil.
And what's your opinion of the kids swimming in there?
Nobody should be in it. Nobody should be in it at all.
Do you believe it's clean? I mean, EPA says it's clean, Health Department says it's clean.
No, it's not.
All right, I appreciate your comments. We'll keep it short, everybody, but I'm just going around talking to residents. They're seeing the oil that's left there, and it's obviously not clean. What do you think they should do about it?
Well, they should clean it up more.
They should clean it up more?
Yeah, do exactly what they did back here. So.
All right. What did they do to your property? Recleaned it?
Yeah, they dug it all down
And
reestablished everything.
now, did they ever tell you it was clean before the second time they cleaned it?
Yeah,
What did they say?
said it was completely clean and completely taken care of.
Did they ever hold any meetings for the community to give them like announcements or preparations or anything to inform you guys of it?
They do, I think, quarterlies now or something.
Yeah, we have meetings, but like I'm not allowed to speak there. Matter of fact, they have a rule nobody's allowed to speak there. You can have a different room where you can ask questions, but you're not allowed to publicly speak to anybody, like out loud.
Really?
Oh yeah, they have like 4 or 5 police officers there. They don't want anybody talking. So, well, thanks, Joel. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I think they're gonna tell us to leave.
Okay.
I don't know yet. We'll find out. We will if they
Are
will.
they allowed to?
Huh?
They're allowed to tell us to leave? Are we in
Well, I don't know. There's no trespassing signs over here, so we'll find out. Don't know yet.